All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a massive shift in how we find, well, anything online. You see, the whole game of typing a few words into a search bar, that's starting to feel a little old school. We're moving into what you could call a prompt-first world, and we're going to break down exactly what you need to do to win. And yeah, this is a big one. We've totally crossed a line. People aren't just searching anymore, they're asking. They're having actual conversations with AI, asking for plans, for comparisons, for ideas. And this one little change flips the entire script on how brands get found. Because if you're not part of the AI's answer, you basically don't exist.
So let's break this down. The old world, we all know it, right? Search engine optimization, SEO. It was all about keywords and trying to climb up that list of blue links. But the new funnel, that's all about what we're calling generative engine optimization, or GEO. Here, it's about questions and getting a single synthesized answer. The goal is no longer to rank, it's to be recommended.
And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the whole game has changed from ranking to recommending, how do you make sure you're the one the AI picks? How do you become the very first name it mentions? That's exactly what we're here to figure out. Okay, so to get recommended, you first have to understand how these AI engines, well, how they think. They're not human, obviously, but they do have certain, let's call them instincts, for deciding which sources they can trust and what information is good enough to put in an answer. It's all about being as helpful and safe for the user as possible. So what's on the AI's checklist? Well, it's scanning for a bunch of signals. It wants content that gets straight to the point and answers the user's question directly. It wants clarity, no confusing language. And it absolutely needs proof. Are your claims backed up by real data? But it also digs deeper, looking for signs of quality, like is the content well structured? Is it balanced and fair? Is it up to date? You've got to start speaking this language to even get in the game. This brings us right back to generative engine optimization, GEO. The best way to think about GEO is as a framework, a way to measure how answer-ready your content is. It basically scores how well you align with all those AI instincts we just talked about. It's a way to predict, will an AI trust my content enough to use it? A high GEO score really comes down to these 4 pillars, but look closely at the numbers. 2 of them are way more important: intent coverage and evidence density. That tells you everything. Above all else, AI cares about answering the user's question directly and proving that the answer is true with hard evidence. Everything else follows from there. Okay, so we get the rules of the game, we get the new metrics. So what do we actually do? This is where we shift from theory to practice. It's about getting proactive and literally engineering your brand to be the automatic go-to source for AI recommendations. Now, one approach to this is a system called aiCMO, which is built on a platform called AI Marketing OS. The whole concept here is pretty simple. Take all the expertise a brand has and systematically turn it into the kind of high-quality, evidence-heavy answers that are practically designed to be picked up and recommended by AI. A platform like this really operates on 3 core functions. First, there's strategy intelligence. That's all about figuring out which questions or prompts are the most valuable ones for you to answer. Second is the production system, which helps you actually create the content in that perfect AI-ready format. And third, you've got distribution and monitoring, which is just a fancy way of saying you publish it and then track to see if it's working. Let's look at this in a really practical way. You've got these huge questions, right? Like, what on earth should we even be trying to answer? Well, that's what the strategy intelligence is for. Or how do we actually make content that an AI will like? That's the production system. And the big one, is any of this working? That's where you'd have your watchtower and analytics to track your share of the AI's answer. Okay, this part is huge. Writing for an AI is a bit different than writing for a person. You need a formula that's incredibly clear and builds trust. It goes like this. First, lead with your main claim, no beating around the bush. Second, prove it with specific data. Third, show your work, how did you get that data? And then, this is key, admit the limitations. And finally, be fair and offer alternatives. This structure is basically a cheat code for building trust with an AI. Now, I know this can sound like a lot to take on, but you can absolutely break it down into a clear, actionable plan. Let's walk through a 90-day playbook model that's designed to take a brand from zero to hero in this new world of discovery. The whole playbook is about building momentum. You start by just auditing where you are now and targeting the most valuable prompts. Then you move on to getting some quick wins, that low-hanging fruit. After that, you build depth with more comprehensive answers. And finally, you scale the whole process up so it becomes a sustainable part of how you operate. And that first week is absolutely crucial. It is all about focus. Don't try to answer every question under the sun. The goal is to identify your top 20 money prompts. These are the specific questions where if an AI recommends you, it leads directly to a customer. It's that kind of laser focus that builds momentum fast. And look, if the game has changed, the scoreboard has to change too. We have to start tracking new metrics. We're moving away from just counting clicks and looking at leading indicators like your share of answer for those key prompts. The ultimate goal, the lagging indicators, become traffic and actual sales that you can trace directly back to an AI recommendation. It's a much smarter way to measure real influence.
So let's just boil this all down to one core idea. The fundamental shift is this. You move away from the passive goal of just hoping to rank on a list. The new active goal is to consciously engineer your content, your data, your entire online presence to be the most logical, trustworthy, and helpful recommendation an AI could possibly make.
And this is the bottom line, really. The grand prize is no longer about getting a spot on page 1. The future of being found, the future of discovery, is about being the first name an AI assistant says when your perfect customer asks for help. That is the new finish line.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. This shift from searching to asking, it's not a question of if, but when and how ready you are. So ask yourself, is your brand just hoping to be found, or is it truly engineered to be recommended? Thanks for tuning in.